Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video we are going to create a shared element transition using React Navigation, Fluid Transition, Expo and React Native Animatable. I prepared a preview for you to understand what we are going to build, and then we are going to jump straight into the code. Without further ado, let's get started. We have three different screens. If I'm going down, so screen 1, screen 2 and screen 3. This is the first screen where we have the planet big with an arrow. If we hit the arrow, we will navigate to the second screen, which has the Mars planet in the middle with a couple of coordinates, also scroll view here. And if you tap on whatever dot you find, like you want to go to a trip, it's going to navigate to the third screen, but the planet is going to be focused on that particular area that you hit. The navigation is pretty simple. We have an app container with a stack navigation inside, and we are also using Expo for caching the images. So this Mars planet, which you can, by the way, download from this link, I'll also add a link in the description, is always cached. So this is going to be cached, but before it's going to be cached, we'll show the app loading. Otherwise, we'll show the app container, which is this create app container, which contains the stack. And the initial route is screen number 1, which is this one. The screen number 2 on the other side has multiple things inside. As you'll notice, the dots are, if I'm hitting refresh now, the dots are randomly distributed in the planet. And I'm using a couple of formulas. So there is an angle, there is a radius, and I'm returning Cartesian coordinates, xy. The angle is used because it has a random. So both angle and radius, they have a random inside. And this is because for the angle, we would like to rotate randomly. So this dot has, I don't know, 25 degrees, this one has 125 degrees, and so on. So random between 0 and 360. And for the radius, this radius is referred to how far is going to be positioned from the center. So this one is relatively close, but this one is far away. Right, so that's why I'm using a random here, and I'm returning the x and y coordinates. With those x and y coordinates, if we move to the screen number 3, we pass those coordinates. We tap on one coordinate, we send the xy value, right? And in screen number 3, we capture those values, and we translate translate the big planet to be that particular dot to be in the middle of the screen by using this formula here. So x, let's say for example x is going to be 100, right? And because the planet is bigger, we also need to take into consideration the ratio. And the ratio is going to be the big planet divided by the small planet. So we have the ratio between those two values. And with those in mind, we'll also multiply it with the x. And we would also like to center it. So centering it is adding half of the big planet size. And same is going for the y coordinates as well. And as you can see, this math formula is like trying to place the planet from the third screen like the dot in the middle of the screen. And now let's dig deeper and see how we can actually do the shared element transition, because this is all about. This is quite simple. We will use React Native fluid transitions. So React navigation fluid transitions. So let's jump into the terminal here and edit. So yarn add React fluid transitions. And since we are here, we will also need React Native animatable. Okay. So React Native fluid transition is exposing couple of useful methods, I will say. So the first, to get started, we need to import two things: the create. So from React navigation fluid transition, we will need to import create fluid navigation and transition. Create fluid navigation is just is going to replace our stack navigation, and this is the only thing that you need to do. So instead of create stack navigation, do create fluid navigation and hit save. And if we are going to navigate to different screens, you'll notice that everything is like fade in, fade out effect. You see, everything is like it's a fade animation just because of this create fluid navigation here. And so now, in order to create a shared element transition, we will use the transition component that React Navigation Fluid Transition is offering us. So if we go to the screen number 2 and wrap the image that we would like to be shared between screens, and passed here a shared ID called Mars Planet, for example, and go to the second screen and wrap the same image into the same transition with the same ID, shared Mars Planet, and hit save, we will notice that this planet will be shared between the screens. It's like that simple. That's it. Let me also create and because I've added, like you see, it's also going to rotate, and that's because the second image is it's having a different rotation. So if I'm going to change the rotation, let's say to 0 degrees, hit save, this is just going to animate only the position. But if I'm doing like crazy, like 120 degrees, you'll see a different movement here. Whoop. Yeah, so 60 degrees, I think it's okay for now. So transition. Let me also create for the third screen. So now this is not going to animate, right? But if we go to the third screen and wrap this image into a shared element and hit save, go to the second screen and then to the third one, you see everything. It's like it's super smooth animation, and the position of the planet, it's also animated because we just changed these styles. The transition component actually exposes multiple things, and we can also animate other elements on the screen while transitioning to a different screen without having those without the need to be shared between screens. And the transition component has different properties, as I said. One of them is delay. So delay is saying animate after the shared element transition has finished moving, or the animation itself has finished. And there is also an appear effect, which can take multiple options such as bottom flip, horizontal, left, right, scale. I'll use left. And there is also disappear effect, and this one can be right. So this is saying it's going to start from left. So if I hit refresh, when this screen is going to be visible, it's going to start from left, and when it's going to move to a different one, this arrow is going to go to the right. What's nice about those two properties here is because those are predefined, like left, right, those are predefined, but you can create your own animation. So my custom transition. Let me create it. It's a method that it's receiving a transition info object here, and the custom transition is receiving transition info which contains the progress, the start and end from the transition info, and this function has to return a valid style object. So return a valid style sheet object. And in our case, I would also like to modify the opacity, but also translate to the translate X. So I will say first the opacity is going to have the progress, which is an animated value interpolated, and we'll have the input range equal to 0, start, and 1, and the output range is going to be 1, 1, 0, 0. So for now, let me return opacity. So a valid style sheet. And now it should go to opacity 0, right? No movement. But we can apply the same for translate text. So translate text is going to be progress interpolate, the same input range, but the output range is going to be 0, 0, 100, and 100. And let me also return that. So transform translate text and hit save. And now it's going to also go to the right, but with opacity, which is great. So I'm using this one here, and we also created this effect like a custom one, but this effect is also going to happen when you go back. So this is starting from left and so on and so forth. For the rest of the animations, we will use React Native animatable. So let me import animatable from React Native animatable, and on the first screen 1, I'm going to wrap the transition itself. So animatable, actually this is an animatable view. Wrap the image itself into an animatable view. Apply a couple of different properties. So the animation is going to be fade in up. So from bottom to top with fade animation. We'll apply a delay of 500, half a second. The duration is going to be 1.5 seconds, and also apply a different style. So position, absolute, align items to the center, and justify content to the center, and hit save. Okay, this is animated, but the display it's wrong. And if we go to Mars planet here, those should be height, and this one is going to be height minus height to the bottom. and height is not defined. Also import the height from dimension screen. And now it's going to animate from the bottom. If we go to the second screen, we would like to animate those dots in a staggered way, and we are also going to use the animatable in this situation. So if we go to the second screen, wrap everything into an animatable view, and before going to the second screen, I'm also going to use the native driver to the first screen as well. So hit save here and go to the second screen, and we would like to do animation fade in. The duration is going to be 1 second. We are also going to use the native driver here, and the delay is going to be 1000, so 1 second plus the I, which is coming from this one, multiply it with 150. So this is saying delayed for 1 second plus the index of each dot, add a delay in between animation. So this is going like a stagger of 150 milliseconds. So if we hit save and go to the second screen, you'll see that now those are showing like in a stagger way. We can also apply the same effect to the boxes here. So animatable view, and this one is going to have use native driver as well. The animation is going to be fade in right. The duration is going to be 600 milliseconds, and the delay is going to be different, so 2000 plus I multiplied with 150. If we go to the second screen, those are animated. The only thing left is to also apply the same transition effect to the arrow. So wrap the arrow from the navigation here into a transition and hit save. So this one is going to also animate and also go back here. And now we also want to apply this this effect to the arrow on the third screen. So his third screen is going to use the same animation. So go next screen, and yes, this is working as expected. I noticed that on the third screen there is no dot indicated where you clicked or where you tapped, so it's pretty simple to edit. Add an animatable view here on the third screen, apply a different style, so styles dot style, and then move it to the center of the screen. So width minus dot size divided by 2, and for the top is going to be height minus dot size divided by 2. So go to the third screen. This is visible on the middle of the screen, but we would like to use a native driver and animate it. So animation is going to be fading, and we will apply a delay of 1000 or 1 second, and duration is going to be half a second or 500. So hit save and see it in action. Yo, that's it. That's it, guys, for this lesson. If you enjoyed it, uh, don't hesitate to just hit a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Uh, you can support me by going to buymeacoffee.com/Catalin Miron. See you in the next video, guys, and thank you so much for taking your time checking out this video. Bye.